So I thought that I would follow up really the last video that I put out, which was basically me extolling the benefits of meditation. And I thought I'd come back and follow that up with 2 tips about how we can manage essentially the way that we feel. We are feelings driven creatures, and at least that's my premise of how I see the human condition. And so for me, anything that I can do to manipulate my state, manage my mood in those times where I get the sense that I want to feel better, I will turn normally to these 2 tips. Tip number 1 is walking. Quite simply, I get out and walk. So there's no rocket science here. There's nothing that you haven't heard before. But for me, it's one of the most underutilized tools that we have at our disposal. It puts you into a state called optic flow. And optic flow is where your brain gets the message that you are moving forward through space. Your brain loves to feel that it is moving forward through space because it associates that with literally moving towards a goal. And that stimulates the reward center in the brain. That pumps out dopamine. You feel, well, and me feel better. That's the first thing. Second thing is I engage in some kind of creative pursuit on a regular basis. For me, largely speaking, that's musical. Either on the keyboard, on the loop station, playing my congas, bongos, djembe, any number of musical apparatus that I have here in my place at my disposal. For you, that may be nothing to do with music. That might be dancing, although that is kind of semi-related to music, isn't it, really? Well, it might be singing as well, which is also musically related. What am I talking about? It might be flower arranging. There you go. That's something different. It might be, you might decide that you want to get involved with baking different types of breads. You might decide to paint, to draw. You might go down the creative route of poetry, giving birth to some kind of poetic content. There's a great neuroscientist called Vijay Ramachandran who speaks beautifully about how the brain lights up when we are engaged in creating poetry, wrestling with those creative conundrums required to birth something poetic. Lights the brain up. You're going to get that dopamine release. And the cool thing about that is that it really doesn't matter whether you write good or bad poetry, just the process of focusing your brain on the creation of poetry is enough to get that dopamine release. So those are the 2 things. I think probably more important now than maybe a couple of years ago for most people, because, well, certainly here in the UK, we are right in the midst of our 3rd national lockdown, and that is proving quite the challenge for a lot of my friends, certainly. And so those are the 2 tips that have provided me a lot of value, as well as obviously meditation mentioned in the last video. Try them out. I'm pretty sure they're going to work for you, simply because as human beings, when we get dopamine, we just feel better. Those are 2 tools that I use. Check them out. Let me know how you get on. And I will see you back here. Well, probably not here. I'll probably be out and about next week for a little bit more chat.